tipper. I'm a tipper. Yeah, I'm a big tipper. Put up or shut up. Put up or shut up. I'm a tipper. Yeah, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper. I'm a big tipper.
They say the rap game dead. I object. That's a low blow. Taking copycatting off each other. That's a no-no. Keep this original or just not even no show. I'm a big tipper. When I spend it, I'ma flip ya. So girl, drop it really low. Show them how we for the flow. Candy, yam, and stick and ball. Feed me and give me more. Haters gon' hate when they see us running state to state. The way that we be tipping, man, up this on some other ish. Down on this dude. What you mean? That's another chick. Coming in, going out on some other shit. Try to rip us off. Best believe it, that's a no-go. Never trust nobody, even family, that's a no-no.
I'm a tipper. I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper. Yeah, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper. I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper. Yeah, I'm a big tipper. Put up or shut up. Put up or shut up. I'm a tipper. Yeah, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper. I'm a big tipper.
Welcome to the Comedy Hour Live. Santa Marie on the powerofvoices.com. Hope you guys are listening. Hit that live switch. And I got Dannon Green in the seat tonight. I'm so excited. Dannon, how you doing?
I am doing absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, you know what? You are, man. You are lit.
Yeah, that's the new word. Oh, I guess it's not new, but that's what the kids are saying now, right?
Yeah. There's a few of them. I've been learning about that.
Okay.
There's another one about that.
Okay.
So I'm really psyched, man. I was. You did some traveling.
I did a lot of traveling. This has been a crazy year for travel. I've never traveled this much in my life.
That's exciting.
In a year, in terms of just the way I have for business this year, like I have. So it's crazy.
That now, would you say, like, I've had a lot of people I've been talking to. We were just talking about this. That's all right. You got to have that. I'll be doing it too.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Well, and they're saying that things just, they weren't planned. They just happened. As one thing led to another thing, you know, the way life is. You know, so like, you know, we all think we have this sense of control, like, I've got a plan. Right. And then life just leads you down the path it's going to take you, where you're sitting there going, like you just said, man, I can't believe how much traveling I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. You know, it's not that it's planned, or this year has just been, I think with me, with my career, I'm not doing it like a lot of the guys have done it, or doing it now. I'm not really big on the social media Vine type thing. I don't have a lot of followers. People that follow me usually are people that are like, oh man, you're funny, and they really want to follow me. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I do. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and so that's one thing. Two, I'm just to the point now where, you know, it's kind of like the Mayweather LeBron James effect, just trying to take my own destiny, my career, my own destiny. So, you know, when I deal with people that deal with me and get to know me, they know that I got the talent, and they know that I'm a good person to work with. So I just grind like that.
That's really big too. The good person to work with, because not everybody's a good person to work with. And I'm not saying anyone in particular, but that is a plus. Somebody told me likability factor, that people really like your vibe.
Yeah, I mean, it's after a while, because a lot of the people that work in Hollywood are assholes. You know what I mean? I mean, really. I mean, they're jerks.
True that.
And they work. But in my case, you know, I can't beat it with, like, you know, it's, you know, we had a big conversation the other day. I was with this comedian, my boy Kevin Tate, because he was like, yo, Dan, you know, because I did the Tom Joyner cruise this year.
Okay.
And
that must have been a blast.
Yeah, it was a blast. And we hung out, and before we ever hung out, you know, I always get that at the end with guys that never hung out with me before, like, oh man, Dad, you're a cool dude. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, because I don't play games like that.
You're really laid back. So
I'm laid back and I'm direct, so people don't like that.
Yeah, you know, but you're not malicious about it.
No, I'll just be honest.
Yeah.
See, people think you're bitter or you're jealous if you're honest, and that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? If you telling the truth, why are you being bitter? You know what I'm saying? You just, you know, people don't dig that. But, you know, in terms of my career, I just decided to, you know, really go ahead and just be like, you know what? I'm going to do things this way. I'm going to be aggressive with it. And it's been happening. I've committed to what I've been trying to be, aggressive with. So far so good,
Yeah, and I know you. Are you still working on your project?
Yeah, that's really big for me right now. I mean, I'm just so excited about that. The project, you talk about the documentary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing a documentary right now. We've been to Philly back twice so far this year in week spans shooting. And we're going back again July 17th through the 24th to complete all of the footage that we want to shoot. I'll be getting probably tomorrow in the mail the footage because my camera people are located in the Bay Area. And I got a bunch of good guys. And that's another thing. You got to have people. I always tell people, my new saying is, it takes a village to raise one kid,
Yep.
they say, but it only takes one person to believe in your dreams.
That's really true. And out here, where it must be because everybody out here is hustling and doing something. That's why we're here. So when something starts to happen, and you're watching the momentum of somebody start to roll, it'll either go one of two ways. Like I was watching a clip Kevin Hart put up with the dog. And he's teaching whatever. He's got a trainer there,
right.
and he's defending. And oh my God, the comments were like, "Why doesn't the dog da da da?" And I said, people are so quick being famous.
Yeah,
you really gotta. People will scrutinize every little thing that you do.
But I don't. Yeah, I mean, with me, with this, what I did was I found some dudes that were on the outside of Hollywood, and what happened was I had did some shows for these guys before in the Bay Area. And every show they always had top-notch equipment recording it. And they were talking about doing some projects up there. Like in a lot of the cities around the country, small towns or major cities, you always got dudes that are just like, you know what, man, they got equipment, they got a little bit of paper, and they want to shoot something. You know what I mean? So what I did was me and the guy, we talked, we clicked, and he said, I'm working on this project, whatever. And I said, okay, no problem. It is what it is. So then what happened was I had went home to Philly for last year for the Hilltop Reunion, which is the area which I grew up in, the Hilltop Hustlers. So I go there and I saw I did a show and I saw one of my old boxing buddies. So he came to the show that I used to fight with, with a very good fighter, actually. And so I said, hey, well, is Frank still alive? I thought Frank had died. It was two owners of the gym.
Wow.
And I boxed at the gym called the Philadelphia Executioners. The original Executioners, too.
Wow, that's quite a name.
Yeah.
That's serious.
Yeah. And so he said, yeah, Frank is still alive. So I said, oh, so, that was it. And then I came back to L.A. And then one day, about October, November, I was laying in bed and I was thinking about the gym and the stories about the fighters. And I kept saying, wow, Tucci, who was one of the main man that started it, he's deceased. And Frank is still alive. And I said, when Frank dies, all of that history is going to go in the ground with him. And we were an iconic gym, like literally iconic around the country and around the world.
So there's some stories to be told.
God. So I said, you know what? I called Frank up. I got his number. I said, Frank, hey, this is Danny Green. And this is what got me. I said, he said, Danny Green, right? He said, Danny Green. He said, Danny Green, Felton Street, Southpaw, good fighter. He remembered me.
Wow.
I hadn't talked to the man in 20, 30 years. And I was on the other line, like, I was smiling and almost tearing, like, damn, this man really remembered me. I left when I was 15, 16, because my mom had died. So I said, yeah, what's up, Frank? He said, how you doing, Danny Green? I said, man, fine. Every time they call me, they say my whole name. Or they call me Danny. Back east, they call me Danny. They don't call me Danny. They call me Danny. So I said, I'm good. And I threw it. I said, look, man, I want to do this documentary on the executioners, blah, blah, blah. And he just got excited. And then he just said, look, I'll go see what I can do. And he connected me with one of the guys, we call them the Clark brothers, because it was two brothers that used to fight. And Clark, one of the youngest one, Clark brother, wound up, he was a good amateur. He wound up becoming a major boxing referee. And at the same time, he wound up getting a part. He actually was in the movie Creed as a referee.
Wow.
Yeah, we got stories. So anyway, I got in touch with him, and one thing led to another. He got me in touch with fighters, and I got in touch with all these fighters, and it just all come together. And
I like that. One thing led to another.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. And right now, so the big thing that's happening right now is we've done all the shooting. We got some more shooting to do. I'm sitting down right now, and I'm just trying to tell the story. because we got a lot of footage.
Right.
So I've been looking at documentaries and things like that. I belong to this. I started going to this Bad West, which is Black Association for Documentaries in L.A., and just kind of getting ideas and things like that. So yeah.
So the era of that. Yeah, thank you. I was going to ask you to do that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
y'all. She ain't want.
We got some talkers in the next room. The era of that of when you're 15 years old at this gym.
Yeah.
And
I started when I was 13. So I boxed it for 2 years.
What was the world like at that time?
Oh man, it was when I got involved with boxing. What people don't understand, when I started boxing, I could street fight. You know what I mean? And in Philadelphia, most guys could slap box or street fight. I had 3 fights in high school. I mean, in school. Well, junior high school, 2. Well, no, 3 all in junior high school, and then I had a couple in elementary school. But I won them all. Now it sounds crazy, but you know, 3 fights in school, and then I had a couple of fights on my block. So, and I won one. There was only one dude that I really was scared to fight, and that was Daniel Page, he's my partner. He was just bigger than me, and he could go too. So, but what happened was I had 2 partners that were still good friends to this day that we used to slap box a lot. They were a little shorter than me, and they used to always tag me. I'm like, damn, these dudes are quick, you know what I mean? Whatever. So but we went to school together. And then one day I was walking down the avenue. They was coming down their block. We met at the corner. And it was about 3:34 in the afternoon. And I go, hey, what's going on, man? Where y'all going? And they're like, we're going to the gym. I'm like, gym? What gym y'all going to? And they're like, we're going to the boxing gym. And I'm like, y'all box? Like, because when you're kids, you don't talk about your outside activities in school.
Right.
In school, you talk about school.
Right.
What's going on. You don't talk about your home life.
So you had no clue that
Nah,
wow.
and I've known these guys since 2nd grade.
That's destined.
Yeah. And so they said, yeah, we boxed. And I was like, oh, man. So I ran home, and I went home to my mom. I said, Mom, I was wondering, can I box? Can I box? And she was like, nope, you can't box. And then I lied. I said, Mom, but I be having trouble in the street. I just need, no, you can't box, she said. So I said, okay. So then 2 days,
funny.
Then 2 days later, she came back and she said, okay, you can box, but I hope you get hurt. She said.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And get over it.
Yeah.
And then get about, yeah.
But I wound up being the best out of all of them. I came in 2nd in the Junior Olympics that year. And then what happened was when my mom died, I had to move. And that's what got me to moving to New Hampshire. I never was stable for 4 years. But I always stayed involved with boxing. I just could never get attached to a gym because it was here and there. So, but I always stayed in it. But then when I went to college, I got involved in it heavily again. And I wanted to be the best out of all of our group. But then I won the gloves. And
isn't it funny how life does that? And everybody's like, okay, so where did comedy come in? How did this guy go from that? Now he's like.
Well, I don't know if first, in terms of just the documentary, because I want to kind of finish up on that.
Yeah, please do.
We our goal. I already have I got a music director, one of my partners who's in the game in the entertainment business. He has a catalog, so he's got music for me already. He already said, he'll do that for me. I got an editor that I'm going to use here, but in the Bay Area, my guys already have a whole editing system. But
wow.
The only problem is I'm here and they're there. So I already been up to Oakland once to look at footage, but we're going to probably do editing between both places. You know what I mean?
So it's almost like what you're saying is the things that you're doing now are actually helping with what you're doing with the documentary.
In terms of
you're in showbiz.
Yeah.
And you have an understanding of a process that a lot of people wouldn't.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're like, Radolph, I got this guy.
Yeah.
And someone like me be like, what would I need?
Yeah. Well, no, I know what I need. Right now, it's just
amazing.
When you're in the business long enough, and I've done projects and things like that. So, and been involved in them, I kind of got an understanding. So, like I said, we've shot everything. We got an editor down here in mind, and we got old footage of when the guys used to box.
Wow.
I finally got in touch with the one. It was 2 main people we wanted to get in touch with, and we got both of them. And one guy was the main guy. See, the story about our gym was we were a great amateur team, world known, but we only had one world champion come out the whole gym, and that was a guy named Gary Hinton. And Gary Hinton won the title in Italy back in 85, 86, I think. And then he wound up losing the title. And then he also fought Aaron Pryor to a split decision before. And if anybody knows about Aaron Pryor, which most people do, he was one of the best fighters ever to to fight ever, pro, amateur, and professional. So,
Wow, a lot of talent.
yeah. So, but the story is really the guys that didn't make it big, and I'm telling that story, and we got some stories
Oh, I would imagine.
from
and
everything.
it's such a great, and even as a woman, like I'm fascinated. I grew up in the era where I got to see Muhammad Ali,
Yeah,
and that fascinated. And I actually, I did meet Mrs. Muhammad Ali, Comanche. What a powerful force! But
Yeah.
what you're doing as far as like bringing those stories to light, I'm sitting here going, I want to see that.
yeah, and I think it's really important. See, everybody wants to know the story of the big dudes because it's normal, you know. The Mayweathers, they're this, or what happened to this guy who wasn't. But no one really. There's a story, especially in Philadelphia, about these guys, and I'm really focusing on probably about 5 to 8 fighters, and these dudes about 8 fighters, and these guys were all like these dudes. These dudes could go, and they were bad, but circumstances. Like we had one guy moving up the ranks. I won't even say his name because I don't want to tell all the stories, but we had one guy moving up the ranks. Saw one of his buddies arguing in the street. Went over there just to say, hey, man, what's going on? The other dude shot him.
Whoa.
Shot him, yeah. He's lived, but and
It
wasn't
ended his career?
But it just pretty much ended his career. He wound up doing well. He's doing well now. We had another dude get involved with one of the biggest drug gangs in Philadelphia. Made it through. He's doing okay. I mean, and he gave me the green light to tell the story. I was like, man, hey, can I tell the story? And he's like, hey, Danny, man, it was my life. It was. And whatever's gonna help the story. Like, these are the kind of dudes that I have. I got another dude who boxed. Make a long story short, he boxed because he didn't want to get in trouble. Wound up quitting boxing at 29. He was 14-2 because back then you really wasn't making no money at 14-2. He wound up didn't catch in the case. Got 18 months, did 9 months in jail. His mom moved to out of state. He had 5 kids, 3 boys, 2 girls. So he goes to his girl and said, look, I want to raise my sons in this part of the country. I don't want to tell you where I don't want to tell the whole story. I'm just going to give you an analogy and make a long story short. Then he moves his kid because he said his first son is 16. One of his sons winds up, the first son winds up catching a murder case. The second son caught a case. So his younger son, he was like, I was determined not to lose him to the streets. Now, I used to box with this dude, right? And he kept him in sports and all of that. Make a long story short, that son grew up, became a superstar, won a Super Bowl ring.
That's an awesome
Yeah.
story.
And I won't say who it is because I want to be able to.
Because you want to be able to do that. I want to see. I want to see this.
But you have no idea of the stories. And this is all from this gym. You know what I mean? These dudes were like, and I'm telling you, like these motherfuckers could go. Like these not dudes that.
I think that
you
makes
could,
the interesting. That's what makes it so incredible.
Yeah.
For what you're doing, because what you're telling, like you're saying, oh yeah, the big. Well, we know how they turned out.
Yeah.
And this is like, yeah, man,
and I want
real.
to do it, and I really want to do it, and that's why I'm getting the footage tomorrow sent to me, and then we got to go back out July 17th. But when I come back, I'm about to just engulf myself into this because I really want to do this while Frank's alive because he was very instrumental. Because all of these guys, every single fighter that boxed out of that gym talks about what those 2 men did for them. Every single one, like it gets teary eyed, like. I mean, like, you have no idea. Well, and these guys, because they're really talking, and it's like the greatest thing, what I really appreciate about when I came to them, because I hadn't seen some of these guys in years. And I was a young boy to some of them, because I was like one of the youngest, yeah. So everybody else was, me and one guy was around the same age, but everybody else had us for 2 or 3 years. And when I came to them, I said, look, man, I want to tell this story. They was like, they all just was down for it. They all was in for it. So, Do
you find that from, like, when you first thought of it to have this idea come to fruition, like as each thing it just took it on its own life?
Well, here's the thing about any kind of project that you do, whether it's in Hollywood, at home, or whatever. It's once, like if you have an idea, right, and then my thing was I didn't really have the paper. I had some money, but not enough to do it the way that I wanted to do it. But I found an investor, and I offered him, a split, and that's another thing that people have to understand when you in the business. Don't get greedy.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Give more. If you don't have it, give more than what you have. You give up that deal because you want to get the project done.
That's really key too. The like everybody that I'm meeting that have projects, the idea of getting the investor on the other end, it's like what you said.
It's very difficult.
It is very difficult.
Yeah.
There has to be something in it for them, because especially in the mecca of everybody looking for it.
It has to be really, really something. Like in my case, because I was just bringing up the project to him. But what happened was when I went to the guy, I said, "Look, man, this is what it is," and I sent him a budget of what I think it would cost. You know what I mean? And he was like, "Okay, I could probably do this." And I said, and it really wasn't. It wasn't hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was just some money, but it was just because they had all the equipment. So that was half the battle.
Wow.
They had their own equipment.
Right.
When you got your own equipment, if you got your own studio,
yep.
all you need is people to come in it. So they had the equipment first of all. So it was just really about the traveling. And when I told the guy this, and I said, "Look, man, here's the deal. This is what I'm willing to do this and give you this." You know what I mean? Because for me, it doesn't do me any good to be greedy. And two, whether we get it, because we don't know, it's no guaranteed just because you do the project. So you better off offering something and then get somebody to believe into what you're doing, because then if they believe it and then you get it done and something happens, see, and the thing about a project like a documentary or even a film project is when we went to Philadelphia, because I set it up. I said, I called the guys, said, "Look, these are the days you're going to be interviewed." We did, the first time we was out there, it was actually the week before the Super Bowl. Okay. We was out there at the Eagles one. Yeah, so it was wild.
Yeah.
And we stayed downtown, right there on Broad Street, where they wound up having a big parade. We actually, the day the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I was flying back to L.A. from the shoot. But the thing was, when we got there, and I had given all the guys their time, and then all the guys showed up on their day. Right. I shot 3 days. I did 11 interviews in 3 days. I was so tired of talking.
Holy smokes.
It was crazy.
Yeah,
But when my investors saw these guys come and then talk, then they was like, "This shit's real," because they saw that these guys were really wanting to tell the story.
There has to be a certain amount of marketability. It also has to be something that, somebody said that to me. Everybody has a story, but not everybody's going to fall in love with the character and be emotionally attached, and there's struggle. What you're talking about is struggle, real life, and things where people excelled and went beyond what was expected.
Right.
And these are real stories. They're not the glory. I think that's awesome that the way you're presenting this.
Right.
It's about the true heart.
Yeah.
The true heart of what you came out of and how that affected everybody's life.
Yeah. And the thing about it too was once these guys saw that, they was like, okay. And then I got people like Mark Breland in it. Mark Breland, 1984 gold medal winner. Buddy McGirt's going to be in it, world champion. Sam Watson. I was at the Dante Wilder Ortiz press conference in New York. I mean, we did all of that. We just happened to be in Philly that week and drove up to New York to get interviews. And so what happened was these guys could see, and then I think also they saw how people responded to me.
Yeah.
See, how people respond to you, then people are like, "Oh shit, okay, this dude." He knows people, because everywhere I went, I was like, "Hey, what's going on? Oh, Danny Green, what's going on?" Blah blah. And then they could see that people knew me and that
legit.
The story was legit and it was real. So now the guys are like, "Hey, man, and they invested their time and project into it, and it was just been."
Can I ask you, because I'm really curious from where I sit, because when people sense, and I mean, who your people are, obviously. From the beginning to the end, when you turn a corner in LA and people go, "Oh my God, he's really doing something big." Do you kind of see a shift in some people that may have been a certain way? Or are you the type of person where everybody that has been near you, around you, because you choose so wisely, that the people that were with you, when this, I'm not going to say if, when this opens and when this hits and it goes to the next level, like a lot of people say that you got a lot of hanger-oners, you got people who say, "Hey, yo, remember?" And, "Hey, what do you got for me?" And, "Dude, can you help me out?" What I want to know is, what do you see as your give back? I mean, you're big-hearted, I know you are, as far as what if you become on the level that this is going to bring you to.
Mm-hmm.
And Dannon Green is a name that is to be reckoned with anyways, but you get to that to where you can actually give back and help. It would be in Philly, right? With the gyms, or would you do
I've already
something
done
here?
that. See, the difference between me is I've done these things already. See,
How cool is
what
that?
I do is, and I'm not no millionaire or 1,000-aire by no means. I mean, I'm grinding. But see, my whole thing has always been, my whole thing in life has always been the mafia attitude. And I always tell people, if I could kill a man in cold blood, I probably would have been more of a gangster than trying to do it right. Because I've always looked at the mafia, and one thing I learned, you look at the Don, right? And the Don is never the biggest or the strongest dude. Now, he put in work when he was younger, but he ain't the strongest dude. So someone always could just come up and beat him up or try to kill him or whatever, right? But the Don is always the guy that makes sure that everybody else is taken care of.
That's right.
And
loyalty.
So when you do that, then they're going to be loyal to you.
Right.
So my whole thing has always been, I'm not no punk, so nobody's going to come up and punk me or make me or bully me, but they know I mean well. And then I try to help people. There's a buddy of mine in Philly right now. He's going to be one of the people that I'm going to interview him because I couldn't do it last time, but he started a boxing program at the playground I used to play at. And so I spoke to him, and he said, I said, man, you need anything? He said, man, well, we got about 15, 20 kids, but we don't really have no gloves and nothing like that. I brought 8 pair of hand wraps. I brought 8 pair of boxing gloves, and I sent them to him.
Wow.
Last year on GP.
That stuff's not cheap.
No, but my whole thing was, and I wasn't, I don't call radio stations and ask them, hey, you know what I'm doing, Dannon Green, something like that. And what I found out, like even in LA, see, the thing about me is that and I think it comes down to personality thing. I get the perception of me is different than what people know about me until they get to talk to me. But I don't care. I'm not here to try to make people think a certain way. I'm just going to be who I am. So I think what happens is people, it's like with this project. People, you already know people going to change up. You know what I mean? But I'm already cool because I already know who I deal with already.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, and when I get to the bigger level and I'm dealing with different people, I don't get caught up in that because I've been around people like that I've been around millionaires and I've been around the brokest people.
Right.
So it's not impressive to me. Even when I was a young boy, I don't care about that type of stuff.
I think that's what makes the idea that you are like that, like you are a perfect candidate to handle that because as we've seen, fame can really do freaky things to people.
Yeah.
And you have to be of sound mind, sound heart. I mean, seriously, because once you cross this threshold, I mean, it's going to be amazing to watch.
Well, the thing is this, and there's 2 things in Hollywood, or I tell people when they come to Hollywood, and the problem is most people make the first mistake, and the first mistake is the mistake that I've never made, and that is you can't want it that bad. If you want it that bad, you sell your soul, and that means you'll do anything. Whether it's sexually,
you're right.
Whether it's sexually, drugs, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then what happens is you get up in the morning one day and you got a whole, you got this big ass house, you can do all this, but you got to look in the mirror and say, damn, what did I do to get this? And that's what you can't wash away. And that's what most people wind up getting.
Yeah, I love that movie, Crossroads.
Well, I didn't see that, but
on that idea where he makes a deal with the devil. At
Crossroads. Yeah. And so exactly. So what happens then is now every morning you get up, you looking in the mirror, and you know that you did something, or you compromise your morals or your beliefs or whatever to try to get it. So now you ain't happy, and and no matter what, something you kill yourself or you get on drugs or whatever. And then 2 is I never blame Hollywood. See, I'm not. You never hear me. You never ever. Now I had an incident one time. I'll tell you about that. But I don't. One thing is I don't blame Hollywood. I don't go, fuck Hollywood, these motherfuckers won't hire me, blah, blah. I don't do that. You know why? Because Hollywood didn't go to Ohio State and knock on my door and say, hey, do you want to give up this $100,000 education? Do you want to give up the possibility of making 6 figures to become a comedian? So I can't get mad at somebody that didn't come.
Yeah, people don't know. Right. Just touch a little bit on that from what you wore, where you could have gone, and you chose something that must have really made people go like, what? Not that you're not expecting you not to be successful, but just like most people have the idea that's what you want, and you followed your passion, which is like so much more enriching.
Yeah, well, yeah. Actually, my original goal was I wanted to own my own computer animation company because I was a drawer. I can draw. When I was young, I used to be able to draw well, and then I got into CAD, computer aided design, when I was in high school, and I took drafting and all that. And first of all, wanted to be an architect. That was my first dream. And then one day at the same playground that I sent those boxing gloves to, I was on the court, and one of the old heads came to me and said, yo man, so what you want to do when you get bigger? And I was like, I want to be an architect. And he was like, motherfucker, ain't no black architects. And then I was like, oh shit, okay. So then I just changed. But that dream was crushed right there. So I said, okay. So, but then when I moved, when my mom passed and I moved, and then I went to from all black schools to all white school up in New Hampshire, and then I took drafting, and then I got into it, and then I was like, okay, I want to be a animator and stuff like that. But then I flipped and went into the. I used to thought I was going to be an animator or boxer.
Do you tell your story in the story?
Yeah. Part of mine
because it's really fascinating.
Yeah, but I don't tell my whole story because I eventually wanted to tell my life story. But I'm telling my story about the boxing part of it. And because if my story alone could be the whole documentary, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't want to do that. But what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna tell myself as one of the fighters and what happened to as it went on. I'll tell part of the story, but I'm just one of the stories.
Have you learned? It is a whole different animal doing documentaries as to anything else.
Oh yes, it is.
And doing that, I would imagine that the bond that is going to be created for all of you guys is eternal.
Oh, it is. I mean, but we were all friends before,
right?
See, and that's the crazy thing about when one of the guys that I'm really cool with, when we was younger, we used to be like this. I liked him, but I didn't really like him because he could fight, and he was a dude that would just walk in the gym and walk by you like he was just that kind of dude, but he could go, so you had to give him respect. And he's one of the coolest dudes I talk to now, man. He comes in and he follows me, man, my man. So we
that's
good.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
that's so valuable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other side of the coin. Relationships out here, people that are people that are true.
Yeah.
I mean, and relationships that last over the years, like you're saying with these people. That's something that as you get older, you learn to appreciate because they don't suck the life out of you. They add to your life.
Yeah.
Each of you know that if a phone call was made, Dan, I need you, dude.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
People,
I mean, these dudes, I got, for a guy like myself,
blessed.
With, no, even though I'm older, I don't have any parents, my family's all back there. But I got partners that'll be like, yo, whatever you need. You know what I'm saying? Because these guys know that I'm genuine. You know what I mean? And they know that when I was in Philly, I was the same way. Like, I didn't have no bad rep. I wasn't I had no rep. I wasn't, like I said, and I wasn't no punk. You know what I'm saying? So, but I didn't walk around. I was just one of them cool dudes. You know what I mean? But if I had to go, I had to go. And otherwise, I was just living life. And it was the same way when I went to college and grad school. And even when I moved to L.A. You know what I'm saying? Because, like a lot of dudes say, oh, man, we heard you box, whatever. But I tell them, for real, I know how to do these things. You know what I mean? Like, I had some of the best trainers in the world. I sparred with some of the best fighters in the world, so I know how to fight. So I don't have to wear that chip on my shoulder no more. I don't do that. I just walk around cool. Plus, people don't fight fair no more anyway. Everybody want to shoot you if you get. You know what I mean? So I keep the shit moving.
I really admire the fact. I mean, you're no kid, and you're taking on a project. See, I don't think people have vision. I think they get to a certain age where they like become set in what they're doing. Not many people that get to a certain age will go, you know what, I'm going to go totally another direction and put everything I have into this. Mm-hmm. And because, as you know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy.
Yeah, it is.
More so. Plus, like you said, traveling. What was it like? You went to Kuwait?
Well, that was doing stand-up comedy. Right. I mean, I just came back from Kuwait a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And that was, me, Rodney Perry, Daniel Dugard, and Andre Covington from Fresno. Dugard's from Oakland, and Rodney, who used to live out here, now lives in Atlanta. And we all met. We flew out here from L.A. 3 of us flew from L.A. Rodney flew from Atlanta. We met in Amsterdam and went from Amsterdam to Bahrain. We did 2 shows in Bahrain, 2 different military bases. Wow. Then we flew from Bahrain to Kuwait. We did 4 shows in Kuwait. We left Kuwait, went to Jordan, did 2 shows in Jordan. We left Jordan, went to Cairo, Egypt. We did a show in Cairo, Egypt. And then we went from Egypt. And
you've never been there before, correct?
No, I've never been none of those places before.
Did it just blow your mind?
Egypt blew me. Everywhere we went, it started blowing my mind more and more. All the way positive to all the way to the negative.
Right.
Because Bahrain, I never heard of it. I didn't even know how to pronounce it. Now I can pronounce it like it flows off my tongue, but never knew what it was. Flew there, rich country, a lot of oil, a lot of money. We stayed in a 5-star hotel at Bahrain. We did 2 shows, but the bases that we went to were in the middle of deserts and like real base. Like we stayed in a badass. It was like staying in a nice hotel and then going out to the war zone. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Crazy. And each base was wild. And there was a base we did in Bahrain where we couldn't even say where we were at. Even to this day, they said, do not mention it. We can't put it on social media. We sent we didn't put up any pictures. We didn't put nothing. You know what I mean? And because the base really doesn't exist. So we did another base in Bahrain. And then we flew to Kuwait. And when we was in Kuwait, I stayed in the best hotel that I ever stayed in my life. I think it was a 6-star hotel.
Wow.
I mean,
yeah,
the money was
it's incredible.
They do not. It was like they got a doorbell. They push the doorbell outside of your hotel room. You got a doorbell. And when the doorbell rings, no matter what you watch on TV, whoever's on the outside, the face
shows
pops up. Yeah. Yeah, it's like gangster stuff. You be like, yeah, you know what? I don't want him to come on in. You know what I mean? I'm keep so
I like that.
Yeah, and we stayed there. And the crazy thing about the hotel was built where it was so dynamic that, you know, the rooms were awesome. Where you eat was awesome. Then you walk out. They got 2 big pools. One pool takes you takes you out to like it's like level like where you walk out to it. And then next thing you know, about another 20 yards you're at the beach, and then another 30 yards is the Persian Gulf.
Man, that's some good living.
Man, we live good. So
that's some good living. But that's amazing. I mean, your life story. You're right, because from where you started out. Yeah.
I mean, my whole life story is crazy because we won't get into that. But, you know, I was adopted. I'm a foster kid and all that.
No, so, Dan, and I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm a foster kid. Yeah.
That's you know, even with that, it's like, I do know that your background is really interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
And some of the things that you probably use in your humor, right?
Some of it, but I didn't get deep into it because I'm just able to talk about it more. When I was young, I couldn't do it because it's really emotional, you know what I mean? But I mean, I went through a lot, but people don't see that in me, and that's why I think what people don't get to understand of me.
Character.
Yeah, and that's why I'm more laid back because I was, you know, my brother who got arrested, so he was a, you know, he used to be a hustler, a drug dealer, and I learned keep your mouth shut and just roll with stuff. You know what I mean? And so I watch people, and what people don't understand is like a lot of times when I'm in the clubs, the comedy clubs, and you've seen me out. I'm not the loudest dude. I'm laid back. I'm watching people.
I said you are. Yeah, you're very low key.
Yeah,
you're just
Now when I'm on stage, I'm a fool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But
funny as hell.
Yeah,
too.
but off stage, I'm just watching because you learn more by watching. You know what I'm saying?
But people got to be going, okay, boxing, architect. Where did comedy? Because you've touched on it. You know, I did interview you before, but comedy, because sitting across from you, again, I'm always amazed the personality changes when you step on that stage, like you said.
Yeah.
So comedy, I'm just like.
Well, see, here's the thing. I've always had a good personality. But when you grow up in the inner city, you can't be too funny. You can't be too open because people will take advantage of you. Because they look at you like, oh, he funny dude. And then they come up and slap him back of the head. Or, you know, they're going to test to see how far they can go with you.
Wow.
So I always kept that. So I always kept my, my guards up. I'm like, all right, so if the dude try to fuck around, I'm going to get with him. Yeah. So I never did. But when I moved out of Philly, I moved to New Hampshire. I got a chance. My personality changed. I was going to school with white kids. They didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? They was cool. And I was like, okay. So then I was funny. And like even when I moved out of New Hampshire, they still voted for me to be like best like guy in school. You know, like when I left.
Right.
You know, they liked
Most
me
popular.
that much. Yeah, right, like that. But what happened was, like I said, I wanted to be a computer animator. And at the same time, I was boxing. So I wanted to be a pro. I thought I was going to be a pro fighter. But I knew I couldn't. I knew I didn't want to eat, live, and drink it. Because I knew I wasn't going to be no opponent. Because when I worked out hard. So my thing was, I don't want to be an opponent. And unless you're going to take it seriously, then you might as well not do it.
Right.
And then, but everybody kept saying that I was funny. And even in undergrad, man, I was just the life of the party. Like I played college ball, right, basketball. Mm-hmm. I made the team, but I didn't play. You know, I wasn't good enough to play. You know, I couldn't beat out the other guys, but I was beating. You know, I made the team, but not enough to. I was a bench warmer.
Right.
And what happened was when I went to visit Ohio State, the middle of my junior year, the professor who wound up being a very good friend of mine, Dr. Thomas Linehan, you know, he interviewed me, and they liked my portfolio. I had a good demo reel, my portfolio, everything looked good, and he said, you know, everything was good. He said, but why are your grades so low? My grade was like a 2.3. I said, well, you know, I'm putting myself to school, which I was, and I'm playing basketball. And then he said, well, if you want to come to Ohio State, you can't be playing basketball. You got to have your grades up. And that was in December. I think I went to visit in December or January. And when I came back from my visit, I quit the team.
Oh, wow.
Yep, I quit the team that right there.
And focused on your
Oh
academics?
my, yeah. And everybody was mad on the team. They're like, why you quit, man? Now, I ain't play. It wasn't like I was a star, but they was mad because I was the life of the party. You know, they like, you know, they
I
loved
think
it when I
that's
traveled.
admirable that you chose, I mean, at an early age, that kind of direction when most people just, the idea of being popular, because that's what we were obsessed about
Yeah.
in high school.
Yeah.
We carry that into our adulthood, but never more so than in high school. That's,
And in college.
yeah, that's quite a,
Well, you know, but again, I have, you know, my whole thing is, even to my life now, I don't have room for error. See, most people, to this day, if they got a parent living or some aunts, uncles, something happened, they got somewhere to run to. You know,
oh,
or
you
they,
didn't have Plan B on
I
right.
didn't have it like that.
Right.
So if I've been flunked or something like that, or out of school or whatever, they'd be like, okay, you know, and it's not like I'm saying, hey, well, you know, I need a place to stay. Now I've gotten a lot closer to some of my family members because at the time we had a strained relationship, so I think it would be a little different now. But at that time, it wasn't like
You
that.
didn't have
so I had to make the right decision, and that was quitting the team. But when I did. And then to this day, me and those guys are real cool. I go back for the reunion every year. I'm going back in August. They were like, man, you know, they hated when I quit. They was like, man, we missed you on the road, man. But we used to be on the road. I used to be wild. But I'll tell you a funny story. And I think this is when I kind of knew I had it as an entertainer without even being in comedy because I wasn't in it. We did a tournament in Topeka, Kansas, one Thanksgiving tournament. It was a round robin tournament. And so we played big teams. Like the first team we played was Dennis Rodman's team.
Wow.
We played their team the year he left. So he had just graduated, went to the NBA, and we played his team.
Wow.
And they still had a guy, their front line was still 6'5", 7 foot, 6'10". No lie.
Whoa.
Our biggest dude was 6'5". And we had him down by 10 at halftime.
I know, that's not that big when you're talking basketball.
Yeah. So our biggest dude was 6'5", but we had dudes that could jump. We had some bad boys. So we had them down by 10 points at halftime. And the whole crowd, like, in the stadium was like, wow, because, like, we was a small school. We ain't had but 9 players. And everybody like, who are these motherfuckers? You know, we was balling. We wound up losing to them in overtime. Right? And we had a chance to, almost like what happened with the Cavs, my boy had a chance to win the game on free throws and missed. Yeah, and when in overtime, they beat us by 10, right?
That's a lot to carry.
So, after that game, we played the next 2 games, and we lost each game. So, we're in the locker room, because it's a 3-day tournament. So, we have, like, another day left in Topeka, Kansas. So, we're in the locker room, we're kind of dejected and stuff like that. We're sitting around getting, you know, dressing and shit. We're talking shit. And then this white man comes in and goes, hey, I talked to you guys. We don't know who the fuck he is. We're like, he came in. I talked to you guys, coach, and your coach said that you guys can hang out with me for a little bit. So we was like, who the hell is him? So he said, you know, y'all guys get dressed. And this is in the 80s, because this will be a violation now.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know,
right.
The whole school will be shut down back right now. Well, you know. So we got dressed. And you got to remember, I went to school with Marcus Ware, Aaron Perry.
Wow.
Some dudes like that. When the Chicago boys, Milwaukee dudes, you know, everybody, these are all cool brothers, like, you know, Jeff Cook, white boy from Wisconsin. So everybody was cool. So we wound up getting dressed, and our coach gave us the van. Like, you can't do that today. You know, the coach like, hey, take the van. So we had the van. You know what I mean? 18, 19-year-old kids in the van.
Woo-hoo.
Following this man around. So he takes us to a bar. He said, here you guys goes. He gives us all $10 in corners. He was the owner of the bar.
Oh, wow.
He brought us pizzas and everything. He owned 3 bars in Topeka, Kansas. He took us to each one of his bars, and we was getting fucked up. Each bar we went to, right? This is a true story. So we get to the last bar, and there was a band on stage, right? And they were playing. It was just, you know, he was a white guy, but you know, I think the clientele was like a black. It was the kind of mix, more black, you know, than anything, right? And he's in there. Their band's in there playing and singing. So I went up there and said, hey, man, can I rap with y'all? Like that. And they let me get on the mic. And I was singing and rapping with the band, right? Tearing it up. Because I used to, you know, today's term, I can't
raps,
rap.
Folks.
I can't rap, but I could. At that time, I could. I mean, I'm serious. I could, right? So this is no lie. My right hand in heaven. I performed. The crowd was going wild. Like, who's this motherfucker? Like that, right? When I finished, the band came to me and said, hey, man, why don't you join our band?
Get out of here.
I said, man, I'm in college. I don't even live in this town. I just blew it. I was like, man, I'm in college. I was fucked up. Man, I'm in college.
Man, you know you hot.
Yeah, and that was kind of it.
Right. That was the
but I
bug bit
knew,
you?
Yeah, huh?
The bug bit you.
Well, no, it didn't really bite me because I was still in an undergrad.
But you had to have been like...
But I knew it. I mean, I already knew that I had...
Something.
I had it. I remember when... What happened was in 87... I was in Iowa and I was starting to take boxing up serious again. And I got a chance to spar Michael Nunn. Now, Michael Nunn was one of the baddest middleweights ever be in the world. He was the baddest, he was the best fighter in the world at the time. And it was 2 fights before he won the title. It was 3 fights before he won the title. And what happened was he was fighting in Davenport and they needed a left-hand sparring partner. I'm left-handed. Southpaw. So they said to me, Alvino Pena, the late Alvino Pena said, hey, Green, this is how he thought. Green! He was a Mexican dude. Yeah, Alvino. He always yelled at. Everything he did, we yelled at. Even when he was being nice, get the gloves! All right, motherfucker, damn. You know what I mean? You was like, shit, man. Motherfucker never smiled. Just everything was mean. But he was a nice guy, though. Everything he yelled. He goes, Green! I said, yeah, the gym is packed. News people, everybody. They all around the ring, Mike's warming up. I'm over hitting the bag. Don't lie. You want to spar Nunn a couple rounds? I'm like, yeah, what the fuck? Yeah. So I get in there and I do good. Now Mike didn't go off on me, but I was doing good. So everybody was like, damn, yo, man, you can fight. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I could, and I wasn't even in top shape, but I was still holding my own. So I said, you know what, let me try this boxing again. Because it was the furthest thing from my mind. And then I got involved in boxing. I won 3 fights in Davenport. And then I ran off another 12 fights in Columbus, Ohio.
I have to ask because, how do you take getting punched? How do you I mean, it looks brutal. I mean, no matter what, when you're watching it, you think gladiators, you think, back in the Roman days when they, in boxing, and now with the
MMA.
fighting. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't like MMA, but I'm not big on that.
It's very violent, but in boxing, it's an art. I mean, I remember watching the choreography is really, the way a boxer moves. There's so much grace to it that people don't really realize how many of your what do they call that? Reflexes. It's automatic, right? Because you go from learning.
But I had good eyes.
Okay.
So I could see shots coming.
Oh, wow.
I was always good. I had real good, and I had fast hands. Even though my hands are small, I had good power. So the thing about getting hit is, for instance, I love football, but I didn't want to play football because I didn't like getting hit.
Yeah, right.
But it's a different type because when you're running, if you're on offense, they're trying to hit you, and then I wasn't really a good tackler because I was always scared I was going to break my neck.
Right.
So
legit.
But boxing, and this is as a kid, which is why I never play football the way I wanted to. But in boxing, you're able to react and hit a guy back, and you're able to see the punches coming. So it's hard to explain it. You can get hit with a good shot, but especially as an amateur, you had headgear, so it takes a little bit off the. But you still feel the blows because the gloves are small.
Dude, it's one of my favorite things to do is to hit even as a woman. Boom. Mm-hmm. I love that whole. I just love the energy that it takes. I mean, people don't realize how much you expel if you've got something you want to work out aggression on. Nothing like hitting the bag, which I would think with young kids, because I mean, 15 years old, you got testosterone, you're going through all this stuff, and being men. I mean, I know there's women who are boxers, not to take away from them. But there's if you don't apply it correctly, it can get ugly.
Well, the difference then, you gotta remember, when I boxed, there wasn't women at the gym.
True.
When I first started, no women ever boxed. And when I went to the gym, the difference was when I was a kid, boxing wasn't a fad. It wasn't a workout. If you went to the gym, it's because you wanted to become a fighter.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't.
See, I never thought of that.
Yeah,
you're right.
Now boxing's a fad. Now people go there just to work out, to lose weight, which is cool.
Right.
But you don't have to fight. So people are like, yo, man, I box. No, motherfucker, you don't box. You work out. Now, if you're going to box, put them hands up and you spar and take a fight. You know what I mean?
Do you talk to Shang was a boxer too, correct? Shang
Forbes?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I know Shang was in martial arts, if I remember Shang. I'm not sure if he was a boxer or not.
Okay.
But I know Shang was in martial arts. And then there's a couple other comedians. Pierre boxes. He trains, The only one that I knew that was a fighter, there's two that I know was a fighter. I forgot my other guy's name. Man, he's my partner. But one is Joey Medina. Now, Joey Medina was a professional fighter. You're right. You know what I mean? So he fought pro.
So, it's like, just listening to you, like, oh, I want to get to my life story. It's like, you sound like somebody whose path always brought them into something incredible. Like, the things that you do, you were never meant to be mediocre.
No, and that's the story I was going to tell you. One day, when I after I sparred Nunn that week, in Davenport when I was in college, went to the fight, and the Goosens, is where I train at now, 10 Goose Boxing, which is in the Valley. They had Michael, so I trained at that gym now. So anyway, when I went ahead and after Davenport in the Quad Cities, Mike was like the fight. He won the fight, and then it was like all of a sudden. I go in there and Mike's like, I meet, Joe Goose and all of them. So they treat me really like, like a star. Like I'm at the fight, at the press conference, at the after party. And this guy came to me at the fight. This is no lie. I'll never forget this man. I think he was a cop in Davenport one time. And he said to me, you know what? I'm going to see your name in lights one day. That's what he said to me. And, rest is history.
Isn't that trippy, man?
Yeah.
Because it's like you everywhere that you're right where, like, it's just funny how everything comes full circle, that now after you do your comedy, but like I said, everything that you do and kind of transition into the knowledge and what it's going to take when this happens for you on this level. And I mean, documentary, it's very intense.
Yeah.
It's very work. I mean, you've been working on this for
just this year.
Yeah,
we started in February, the end of January. The last week in January, the first week of February, we started shooting.
When do you see this coming done?
The goal is to have it, after we shoot July 17th through the 24th, 25th that week, then we got to do some more pickup shots. So I plan to go into to start really putting it together. I'm already writing it out.
Okay.
I have to write it out, the beats, and I'm writing out because you have to kind of have an idea so you know what kind of footage you're trying to find, because I got hours of footage.
Dude, you are a go-getter.
Yeah.
I really do admire that.
Yeah.
I mean, you haven't become complacent in anything you're doing. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's really something that people do that. They become very comfortable and they don't want to step outside their comfort zone and go, man, that's a lot of work, right?
Yeah. It is. But see, the thing about life, this is the problem with life where most people make mistakes, is that no one really, you got to have a game plan.
Right.
You don't have to have a plan. You just have to have the game plan. See, everybody got a plan. I'm going to go to college and get a job, blah, blah, blah.
And
but the game plan is, okay, what do I have to do to keep maneuvering and putting myself in positions? That's the game plan. So my whole thing is, I always know that, one, my personality will always give me for people to be able to meet people. Two, I don't come to the table empty-handed.
True.
See, that's what half the people in LA do.
You said that.
Everybody comes. Yeah. You can't come and say, you couldn't produce me. I want to produce a show. Well, okay. What kind of show? Oh, no, talk show. No, I come with everything. So with my film project, I come with the script. If I'm doing a script, like with Alex, when I had him, I had the script, the budget, the business plan, the synopsis, and my wish list done. So when I'm meeting with people, the worst they can tell me is yes or no. I don't go with all the bullshit no more. Man, because I just had to talk tonight with a guy. Man, I talked to a guy and said, look, my man, if they're not really serious, I won't talk to them. I don't need no lunches, and I'm past that. So what happens is, when you come to the table with everything, now you put the ball in the other person's court. Because now he can't send you away and say, oh, I like the idea. Do you have a synopsis? Oh, I like the idea from the synopsis.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, but think about it. Every time, Hollywood's whole goal and anybody's goal that's not really about business is to get you out their face. So what they're trying to do is, okay, it's a good script, man, but who do you want? You got anybody attached to it? What's your budget? So what they do is that keeps sending you away. So the more they send you away, then you got to go home. And one thing I don't do rewrites. If you're not going to give me any money. If you're not going to give me an option deal, I'm not going to do no rewrites. Because that's the number one thing that people try to get you to do. Oh, man, I like your script, but if you change this, then I think we can do this. And then what I tell them is, well, can you give me $5,000? Because this way I won't have to worry about no money, and I can concentrate on it. And then you don't hear from them, and motherfuckers wasn't about nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's the main thing in terms of having a game plan. And then I just know, I've been blessed by God that I just know that because people, even to this day, a lot of comedians they try to make me the joke because I don't say nothing. I'm laid back, but I'm watching everybody. You know what I mean? So all I do is let you crack jokes on me. Oh, Danny Green, this or that. Or they try to talk about sometimes by the way I talk because I have a slight list, you know what I mean? And I just laugh at them. But at the same time, the people that I deal with, it's like the lawyer, I deal with people that can make moves, that can do things.
Yeah.
But people don't know that.
No joke.
Yeah, but people don't know that because when people meet me, I'm legit. I don't come with no bullshit. I don't want nothing from you. Whether it's a woman or I don't try to live off nobody's money. So I hustle.
And you're also, that word professional.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't go well in Hollywood sometimes, but at the end it does.
Yeah.
Because, when I was younger, this is what I used to always say. And this is how I figured it out. When I went to college, I would, people would have parties, right? And then I said, especially my first 2 years, I really studied hard. And I would miss a party, right? And people like, yo, Dan, you going to the party tonight? It'd be Friday night. I said, nah, man, we got a test on Tuesday. Man, fuck it ain't but Tuesday. But no, but if I study now, because, and then this is what I would always tell people. And I tell people this about everything. Don't worry about missing no party. There's always going to be a party next week. So that's how you got to deal with people. I don't worry about whether you really want to talk to me now because there's going to be somebody that wants to talk to me.
That's right.
So you don't want to do business with it. I'm good with it. I got no problem leaving. You know what I'm saying? So
no, that I will take to heart because that's very true. I mean, that's one of the lessons as far as I don't take it personal when I'll say I've had a couple of comedians that were like rude, and I'm just I'm harmless going up, but 90% of the time, most of the comedians are very good about man, I'll come on.
Yeah.
They see a genuineness, so that translate into man, I don't mind coming out. That'd be great. But you also, like what you said, as far as you're such a self-made man, as far as how you grew up,
right?
And you had nobody else to fall back on but
right.
yourself,
and
that really does create something to be said about integrity. Because you can go a lot of different ways.
I could have
when you're left to your own senses.
I could have went,
and choices.
The biggest road I could went was the drug game.
Right.
My brother was a big drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? And I knew the game. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, when you get ready to make that choice, you gotta, one of the biggest. Here's the big thing. I know we're great wrap it up. So here's the big thing that helped me. I used to watch the news a lot when I was a kid. This is a true story. My right hand to heaven. And every time, especially back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, they, you see the news, and you saw somebody that did a crime. You know what I mean? Now you don't know if he was set up or not, but you see somebody did a crime, and you see him in front of the judge, and right before the judge get ready to sentence him, his lawyer goes up and says, "Okay, do you have anything? Your client want to say anything?" And then the lawyer would say, "Well, Your Honor, my client comes from a broken home. His mother died last year, and he lost his brother, and he's just, they give me all the excuses, you know what I mean? Right? Because you're looking for some sympathy, right, from the court and some leniency. And then, but every time I saw that on the news, the judge was like, I understand. Now, he still got to do these 15 years. But I'm sorry that this happened to him. So what that told me is nobody gives a shit about your situation. You know what I mean? I mean, so I can sit here and tell you, my story, my life story is heavy. But if I sat back and did all of this dumb stuff or not went for it, the only thing y'all gonna say is that Danny Green, he had a hard life. But nobody's gonna stop and take care of me or do whatever what I need to get done.
Dan, I'm so glad you came on the show. Thank you. I really think you are an inspiration.
I
really do think that, in life, these young kids coming up the ranks, I think it's great to have somebody they can look up to.
Yeah, they ain't looking.
Seriously,
they ain't listening.
I'm telling you.
No, they might be, though.
I'm telling you, yeah. If I was a young comedian, I'd listen. Thank you guys so much. This has been awesome. I hope. I want to hear when that thing breaks.
Yeah, you'll be invited.
Anything I can do, please let me know.
Well, I'd like to come back on your show when we get it completed, so we can promote it.
We can do that.
We're gonna have a big premiere for it. And like to invite all your people to it.
Woohoo! And we're big tippers, so you better.
Okay, big tippers. All right.
Take me out, Lee. See you guys out there. Thank you so much.
I'm a big tipper. Put up or shout.